Hello and welcome to another segment of Random Character Generator.
With Kate Welch, apparently, is the new title. That was on the title card.
Ooh.
Random Character Generator with Kate Welch.
That's you.
But not Greg Tito.
But not me.
Greg Tito's not here.
No, I do nothing. I just babble on into this microphone.
Oh, I wanted to I mentioned that to you. I feel like I just take all of our concepts and run, and you're like, oh yeah, and then what? But you should. I want you to brainstorm with me. I want you to be my co-designer on these.
Nice.
On these critters from now on. You got it?
I'm in. I'm the dungeon master to your character.
Okay.
I like that. All right. So this is the segment where we create a random character on D&D Beyond, and we start with level 3, no multi-classing, any race, and the name and everything pops up, and then we together come up with what that character means from what spits out of D&D Beyond, and
Sounds
it's been
good.
super fun, and we're gonna press that button right now and
Here we go.
see what pops up. You guys ready?
Here we go.
Oh yeah,
I'm ready.
It's loading.
It's loading. Call it what you did earlier. This website. What did you call it earlier?
Dungeons and Dragons Beyond.
Yeah, it sucks. I hate it.
I'm so glad they went with D&D Beyond.
D&D Beyond is so much better.
Ooh, it's another
my
warlock.
Gosh. Okay.
More Mayor Amakir.
Mormare Amakir. High elf warlock?
High elf warlock with a
Okay.
6 charisma.
Goodness gracious me.
Ooh.
Yeah, that's a -2 on that. That's not great for a warlock, is
It
it?
is not good for
It's
a
not
warlock.
good. It's
There's
not good.
actually only one stat that has a positive modifier on it, which is dexterity.
Yikes.
Mostly due to so basically when D&D Beyond rolled their 3d6 for each one of these stats, they were all super below average, and so. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I think High Elf gets a bonus to dexterity. So the only reason there is a positive thing is because
High elf gets a bonus to intelligence.
okay, not dexterity. Okay,
No.
Phew. So that's a good thing why there's an intelligence of 7.
Yes, that's
Oh
with
my
the int
God.
bonus.
So
Wowzer.
this, that's what's to my mind, this is what's fun about creating a random character is because, there's always the inclination of wanting to have a character that has some skills and some things that make it an amazing character. But I think NPCs as well as some player characters can be really fun when they have substandard stats.
yes.
And that's one of the tenets of this segment is to try to figure out what makes this character fun from it.
Okay. Well, we have a lot to figure out.
You've got a lot to figure out.
So we have I want to say this is a high elf warlock, so it's very like a beautiful, elegant, generally speaking, intelligent race. However, this is an exceptionally stupid warlock.
Exactly.
An exceptionally uncharismatic warlock.
Yes.
And not really good at anything except like some like little fingy work. You can do a little bit of dexterity, like maybe know some up close magic tricks or something.
I like that you use fingy
Yeah,
as well.
that's what they're called.
The theme is Tom Haverford type things going on today.
Being on sketchy.
Being on sketchy.
Yeah. So yeah.
Fascinating
What?
here.
Okay. Yeah. What proficiencies have we got?
So
Not that it matters.
Oh,
but
for weapons, so light armor,
Okay.
longbow, longsword, short sword,
The
simple
skill
weapons.
skill proficiencies.
Skill proficiencies.
Oh wait, we got tools, brewer's supplies,
That's interesting.
and cook's utensils. So that's what the fingies are for.
That's right. Okay, so
They're a cook. They're a chef.
Mormare.
Obviously.
Mormare?
Mormare Amakir is a chef.
Okay.
Level 3 chef warlock. Proficient saving throws in wisdom and charisma, and then history, investigation, nature, and perception. We bumped up our nature to a +0.
Yeah.
So that's nice. And proficient in persuasion also at a +0.
Yeah, so they're proficient with it, which gets them up to nothing.
Yeah. So what that means to me is that this person studied these things so that they weren't dreadful at it, so that they didn't have a negative, like it's the same as you want to be able to like walk up a flight of stairs without like being out of breath at the top. So you're like, I'll do 10 push-ups a day. It doesn't really do much for you, but it adds a little bit of physical fitness so you're not running out of breath. That's kind of what I think is going on here. It's like, I'm so bad at nature and I keep cooking with poisonous mushrooms. So I at least need to be good enough to find mushrooms that aren't poisonous at the bare minimum. Right.
Which
yeah.
is still like a random chance. Like it
Right.
may not.
It might not work out great, but at least there's not a detractor.
Exactly right. It's not like they're bad at it.
Yeah.
So because this is a warlock and is able to choose an otherworldly patron, the Great Old One.
Great old one.
is what's chosen here.
Holy hell. All right. So the Great Old One it's an interesting choice for the Great Old One to have contacted this being since, but its motives are incomprehensible to mortals. So, perhaps a very, let's say, statistically challenged individual might have some purpose to the great. What's your idea? Like, what is an exceptionally unintelligent, uncharismatic warlock who's extremely good in the kitchen? What does the Great Old One want to do with more care here?
For some reason, Great Old One always seemed like a fae thing, right? It seemed to me like they were connected with nature in some case, and that's why.
Well, the Archfey is the fae one,
right?
The pact. So the Great Old One is more, I think, of like Lovecraftian.
Ah, I see.
Yeah. So it's from the far realm. It's I think of like when I think of the Great Old One, I think of a big faceless illithid type being.
Okay.
And so it could be one of the elder gods known only in legends. It might be unaware of your existence or entirely indifferent to you, but the secrets you have learned allow you to draw your magic from it. So yeah.
So when you mentioned mushrooms, for some reason that pulled at a string in my head, and I was thinking about some kind of, there's that I forget what its name, but there's like the largest organism on Earth is thought to be a huge fungus that's underground.
What?
And works out. Maybe I'm
like Avatar. Sorry, you think of the movie Avatar?
that's real, right? That's unobtainium is a thing. And now I'm also thinking about the creature that's in the Underdark.
Sure.
Here, that is a fungal type thing. So maybe
like myconids.
Yeah, but not necessarily connected to this creature. But it's like this I don't know, just a thing that has networks, but is not necessarily intelligent or has any motives or anything like that. It just has existence as its motive.
So you're creating a new god, a Great Old One god that is like a mushroom entity.
Yeah.
Is that what you're thinking?
Yeah, or like like in those Star Trek episode where they'd see an amoeba in space, and it's got nothing other than its own existence that it's trying to do.
Interesting. Okay. And so perhaps this mushroom god, which you're going to have to come up with a name for, I'll let you think on it, it has reached out to this sort of incompetent warlock who has skill in the kitchen and has decided to maybe take pity. And so one thing that is true about Mormere is that Mormere, if the dish involves mushrooms, it is Mormere can kill it, crushes it every time. If the dish doesn't have mushrooms in it, Mormere has a little bit more of a challenge ahead of them. It's the kind of a mushroom, kind of a vegan kind of a thing happening here.
Got it.
A lot of mushroom burgers, a lot of mushroom sauce.
What is that? The Impossible Burger? Is that what people have been talking about a lot? That's
good, actually. Beyond Burger?
Beyond Burger?
Like
D&D Beyond Burger?
Yeah. Dungeons and Dragons Beyond Burger. God, it's gross.
This trademark is getting better all the time.
So one of the things that happens with the Great Old One is you get Awakened Mind as at first level. So since we're third level, we have Awakened Mind. You can telepathically speak to any creature you can see within 30 feet of you. So
that's interesting.
We have it's a telepathic mushroom chef
connection.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Have you come up with a name for your mushroom god yet?
Not yet.
Okay,
but
keep working.
I have another piece of information that we got to incorporate here, which is the background is a house agent to a dragon marked house.
What?
Which is from Eberron.
Yeah.
And I will admit freely, I don't know a lot about the lore behind Eberron.
Me neither.
So we'll be making this up. But
dragon marks are like the influential families.
Yes.
And if you're a dragon marked family, it's kind of like nobility. Like they have more money, they have more social influence. I've played only 1 or 2 games in Eberron, so this is off the cuff.
Right.
But if it's not true, now it is about this character. So this was a person who worked. Okay, so there's a chef of a dragon marked house.
Yeah.
Obviously,
right.
Like an in-home chef who touched a few too many mushrooms and got in contact with a weird far realms mushroom god.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. I like that a lot. And it's House Galanda is the name of this, and that's why the brewer supplies and cooks utensils are on there is due to Galanda.
Yeah. Galianda? Is it? I can't see it from here.
Looks like it's Galanda.
Okay,
There's no E in there. There's just Galanda.
Nice. All right.
And that's why there's investigation and persuasion as well as a skill proficiency
Cool.
for all that.
What spells have we taken here at level 3?
So we've got several cantrips.
Oh, nice. Okay.
Uh,
Shape water, obviously.
Oh, yeah, that makes total sense. That's due to
Molding
the pact boon.
Yep.
Right. Vicious Mockery, which is always one of my favorite spells, so I'm glad that's in there. Because even though he's not intelligent, or this person is not intelligent, because we haven't put a gender yet.
No,
here.
not yet.
Mending makes sense if you need to repair knives or tools or anything like that while you're getting things
not
going.
People or things that
Nope.
are not related to cooking. But, the mending can help you in the kitchen when you mess up your brewer's
As well
tools.
as infestation, I guess.
Yeah, let me
to
read
have
about this.
cloud of mites, fleas, and other parasites.
Parasites. Oh my gosh. Okay. So infestation would be, maybe it's for leftovers. You just get a bunch of flies in there and they eat the leftovers. Yum, 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 yum. Don't have to worry about them.
And then it creates fuel for the mushroom god.
Exactly. The mushroom, maybe that's what it is.
Yeah.
It's more decomposition. The more decomposition, the better, says the mushroom god, who still needs a name, by the way, Greg.
Interesting. I know. I'm sorry.
I'm just
frantically
saying.
trying to come up
right.
with something that's going to be amazing.
This is in improv. This is called pimping. What I'm doing to you
No,
right
you're
now.
trying to. Yeah,
Yes.
exactly.
Yeah.
But it's only causing some vicious mockery in my head, or dissonant whispers, which are also.
Okay.
Well, that's what it's called. Sha-sha.
Yeah.
Sha-sha-sha.
Every time we have a Krithris on C-Team, every time he uses his dissonant whispers, I always do a little Foley for him. So dissonant.
It's very dissonant.
So detect thoughts is it's not the same thing as awaken mind, but we've got a lot of psychic work happening with this warlock.
Yeah.
And dissonant whispers, illusory script, and shatter for some reason. It goes well with mending, I suppose.
Yeah.
Gets frustrated with his work in the kitchen. This is kind of striking me as a male. He's like, "Duh, this mushroom dish is okay. Let me do it better. This is a high elf, but it's sort of an incompetent one. So here's what I think he sounds like. It's like, this dish very not tasty. This dish not taste good. I shatter. And then the shatter breaks all the dishes. It's like, I must
mend them back together.
I must mending.
Yes. I like that because it is a not smart, not charismatic creature here. So it would fly off the handle pretty quickly, but then also has enough wisdom to want to put things back together again.
You know who this character reminds me a lot of? Pelham.
I think we're having a revolt happen here in the Dragon Talk studio. That's amazing. So all and then Mage Armor, because
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Accidents happen in the kitchen. You always want to be prepared. I constantly am burning myself whenever I cook. I would love some Mage Armor. Even, I don't know if it would actually prevent fire damage. Why not?
Or to have the servants underneath you throwing things at you because of your non-charismatic attitudes.
Yeah, not a good leader.
Not a good leader.
I would not call this a head chef. This is either a guy who works by himself, mostly in the field of mushrooms, or is like a sous chef or a line cook or something.
Do you think that there was a call to adventure that happened? So he was this house chef in House Galanda, but then somehow got separated from his chefdom and is now adventuring because of it.
Yes. I think that he got kicked out. It's something so mundane, but he got kicked out of House Galanda because he kept using poisonous mushrooms. And they were like, bro, you got to go learn the difference. Get out of here. Go figure out what. And so he's like, well, I shall study nature and I will bring to 0 so that I may find good mushroom. This is what high elves sound like.
I must find sha-sha-sha-sha. And they will tell me.
Oh, that's the name of your mushroom god? Is sha-sha-sha-sha?
Sha-sha-sha-sha.
Oh, my gosh.
Right?
It's like sitting across from Shelly Mazanoble.
Shelly.
There we go. That's the name of the god.
Shelly.
It's Shelly.
All right, that's good.
Yeah, and so while picking mushrooms, and he picks one up that's spiky, and there's like actual stink lines coming off of it. He's like, "Is this good mushroom?" Oh, I'm giving him an accent now. Is this good mushroom?
I mean,
no way to know. And then Shelly is like, "No, idiot. That's bad mushroom. It's
But
like, whoa.
telepathically, he's like, no, bad mushroom.
Yes, yeah. And so this elf now just like goes to mushrooms is like, good mushroom, and Shelley's like, yeah, that's a good mushroom. That one's fine. I don't know what Shelley's getting out of it, but great old ones are incomprehensible. We know not their will or their desires.
And then that they just want to serve versions of themselves, the fungus god, to...
Oh, that's what it is.
Everyone wants to be... The mushroom god wants itself to be inside other people's digestive tracts.
Exactly.
Which makes no sense, which is why Mormare is not smart.
No, this makes perfect sense. Mormare is not smart, but I think what happens is that this is how this great old one is spreading their religious influence. So if you eat the mushrooms that the great old one has picked out,
right,
that Shelley will have her influence incepted into more people, and because there's the I don't remember
spores.
Yeah, exactly. Like the spores get in your brain. There's this bacteria, I think it is, called toxoplasmosis that exists in cat feces, and it makes particularly, I think it targets women's brains, and can drive you a little nuts, like actually make your brain do weird things.
Right.
So I think that's what this is. It's just like a tiny bit of spores in each of Shelley's chosen mushrooms, but when you get those spores in, you're like, I could really worship a mushroom god right about now.
I didn't think so before, and you can't really pinpoint when
you don't know.
Started happening.
You're like, I ate some mushrooms a week ago,
right?
But that was just a side. That wasn't even the main course.
And so Mormare is just with any adventuring group, we're just following along, doing incompetent things and screwing everything up, and feeding everyone, but
delicious mushrooms.
And what Shelley wants is just to get it out into as many people as possible,
right,
and using its agent.
Mormare, exactly. And because I think Shelley is resentful because in the player's handbook she's not listed in the great old ones. No, we got Gonadar, called That Which Lurks. We got Tharizdun, the chain god. Ooh. Dendar, the night serpent. Zargon, the returner, and Great Cthulhu.
Right.
But Shelley, Lord of Mushroom, not there. Not there.
That's strange.
But we'll see. We'll see what we can do in future publications.
What if, and this is just, we'll get it in there, Shelley, don't worry. This is just a random thought, but what if the spores or what's been in infecting Mormare is actually the reason why he is less charismatic, is less smart, is because he's been exposed to so many of it over time that his stats actually degraded, and that's why he is the way he is.
I like that, and that's probably what happens too. To people who he feeds his mushroom dishes to. He doesn't mean to,
right? But
slowly they all kind of they lose their intelligence and charisma. That makes them sound like they're like a zombie. So maybe this is like a spores, The Last of Us type of thing, where the spores actually turn you into kind of oh boy, that's gonna give me a nightmare. Thank you.
I did that for you.
Yeah, thanks. But the spores actually kind of turn you into a little mushroom slave of Shelley.
Right.
I think Shelley is pretty evil.
Yeah, now it's a purely so.
Yeah.
Or maybe they just want it's just proliferation.
Yeah.
Like I said, I don't
reproduction.
I don't think it's a malicious act. It's just this is how they create more and more of Shelley's.
Yeah, I like the idea of these mushroom zombies, not The Last of Us style, because to be honest, fuck that. To be totally frank, but the idea that it's just a kind of like a dull, droopy humanoid who's not super well spoken, but just they're trying to spread the word of the mushrooms to be like,
right.
Do you have any dishes with mushrooms in them?
But also while not affecting their dexterity, not necessarily
no.
making them, they otherwise amble around like normal humanoids would, but they just have
play the piano. They're incredible calligraphers.
They're very good at chopping things without cutting themselves.
No chopping with cuts. No. Only and the mushrooms, the cut it's just beautiful.
Magnifique.
Beautiful chop work in the kitchen.
I like it.
All right.
All right. So that's Mormare Amakir. And I love the voice that you put together.
I am searching for good mushroom.
You like mushroom?
You like mushroom?
I bring more mushroom to you.
I will try to bring you no bad mushroom.
There is no bad mushroom. Only good mushroom.
No, Mormare, there are bad mushrooms. There's mushrooms, Mormare.
Get out of here. Get out of House Galanda. We don't want you
coming
here.
Back. You keep not understanding.
Right.
Please stop poisoning us with these mushrooms.
You go bring those mushrooms to the other side of the war.
That's right. Oh, he's an operative,
Yeah.
double agent, but very bad at it.
Exactly. And for some reason, he's with an adventuring party or whatever as a contact. And
Sure.
yeah, I like that a lot. Actually, the one thing that we've talked about necessarily how they behave, but not necessarily what they appear like. What does Mormir Amakir look like?
I think Mormir Amakir. So high elves. I'm going to go back and read it. But if I understand correctly about elves, high elves are like the fancy elves.
Yes.
They're the ones who are, I think, a little snooty, if I'm not mistaken.
They can be, yeah.
And so I think Mormir might be like someone who's very beautiful and stupid. Not that, that's the kind of thing that exists, I guess. But hold on. I'm getting to elves.
Get to the elves.
Why didn't we alphabetize these? This is terrible.
Jeremy.
Okay. Okay. High elf, you have a keen mind. Nope. And a mastery of at least the basics of magic. True. The one type of high elf is haughty and reclusive, believing themselves to be superior to non-elves and even other elves. The other type are more common and more friendly and often encountered among humans and other races. The sun elves of Faerun have bronze skin and hair of copper, black, or golden blonde. So sun elves and moon elves are both high elves. That's pretty cool. Since he's a mushroom hunter, I like the idea of him being a moon elf. Because he's out in the dark, the grubby, dank parts of the forest, finding his. Yeah, all right.
It's ultra dank.
Yeah, we all know what you think about ultra dank, Gregory.
Well, here's a random bit. The extra language that was chosen for high elves is Orc.
Oh, okay. Interesting. So what's that about?
I wonder if there's a friend. Like somehow after they got kicked out of House Galanda, Mormir fell in with an orc group, and so maybe
okay,
the orcs were like, all right, yeah, you can come along with us. You make decent meals, and they don't realize that slowly over time he's been, not poisoning them, but getting them to be followers of Shelley.
Okay, I like that. So maybe he got hired on. Let's say he got hired on to some kind of Underdark expedition group. That the fact that he was a moon elf, these orcs thought he could maybe pass for a drow. Since moon elves have blue, they have like blue tinged skin.
Yeah.
I think drow are considerably darker, but that's as close as you can get without being a drow, probably. And
then when you rub mushrooms all over yourself too, it also
you get that that mushroom coal powder that everyone's so crazy about. It's a real Faerun cosmetic innovation.
It is now.
It is now.
It is canon.
But they hired him. I think those orcs were smart and they were savvy. They were performing incursions into the Underdark to get whatever they needed. But the reason he came with them is so that he could serve as chef. And because the Underdark is just lousy with mushrooms. So it seemed like a perfect fit.
I love it.
Yeah. And then I don't know how he learned the orc language with an intelligence of -2.
Maybe it's over time he's gotten worse, but so he had a higher language to begin with, or just as his high elfness allowed him to pick up one extra language. That was all he could muster.
Right.
Because other languages are, so he's got Elvish he can speak, and Orc.
Yeah. I like the idea that maybe that he actually started with even more languages than that, but he's just forgotten them.
He's forgotten them over time.
Like he knew Draconic and Halfling, but because of the influence of these spores, he's forgotten those languages.
Oddly enough, many people don't know the Draconic language for mushroom is mushroom.
It's very strange.
I remember this now.
I remember only the one word. The word for mushroom in every language is a mushroom. No, it's not.
Shelley is also an acceptable language for mushrooms.
Have you heard the good word?
She is the great old one.
And then he uses his psychic thoughts. He reads people are like, dude, this guy is just not on the level. And he thinks to himself, but I am.
But you will learn once you eat more of these mushrooms.
I will teach you the ways.
All right, that is Mormir Amakir. Thank you so much, as always, Kate. How can people find out more about you and pepper you with more questions for how to prepare mushrooms deliciously?
Please don't do that. I don't cook with mushrooms very often. However, you can find me on Twitter, Kate Welch.
I'm sensing a theme here.
Well, that's right. I'm already in. I'm already infiltrated. The spores are in my brain.
I see it growing out of you.
Yes, I wish. But yeah, that's me on Twitter, so you can hit me up there.
Awesome. I am at Greg Tito, and we will be posting a link to this character for you to use. You can use whatever we came up with, or go crazy with it. It's tons of fun.
Yeah.
Awesome. Thank you, D&D Beyond, for
Thank you, D&D Beyond.
Dungeons and Dragons Beyond.
Gross.
For making this random thing possible. You're awesome. We'll be back soon.
Bye.
Bye. All right.
I'm learning that we're still on a live stream right now.
We are correctly still on a live stream. Okay. We are also on the Skeggy.
We are hella on Skeggy.
Yeah, that was about 20 minutes. That was good.
Yeah, that was nice.
How are you doing, Ryan?
25 minutes.
Wow.
What?
Oh, that's a lot of content.
How do we just bullshit for 25 minutes? That's insanity.
It's good stuff.
It
that
good
often
stuff.
happens where we'll be like, oh man, that whole conversation that went by so fast.
Yeah. It's gotten to that point with Game Juice too, where like 2 hours was really daunting to me at first. I didn't know how I was going to fill it. Like, how do I say? And now it's just like, just say whatever garbage comes to the top of my mind, which is what I do for your show as well.
Exactly. And also on the D&D news and for all the stuff. It's just, let's just talk.
Pretty much everything.
Luckily, you're an entertaining person just in general.
Stop
so that helps.
Shut up.
You got it. You got that special something.
Also, just a little secret for the people who are watching the stream, Pelham's amazing.
He really is.
I like to give him a little guff every now and again because he's got a bit of an ego on him.
I've seen
the
head is growing. It's getting bigger and bigger. But now that I see more mushroom and fungal stuff popping out of it because Shelly's got her.
Dude, Shelly, she's going to be so excited. She's in the Pantheon now.
Exactly,
I hope
right?
she likes mushrooms. I don't know. Actually.
I also can't wait to tell her she's a great old one.
Yeah. Oh, she's going to love that.
That's going to be my favorite thing. I'll text her right now. Well, thank you so much, Kay, for jumping in on this.
Thank you, Greg.
We will do more for Dragon Talks and things going forward. You're also going to be D&D Live 2019, The Descent.
I am. Yes, I will be there. It is going to be a blast? ? It seems like it's going to be a blast.
I hope it's going to be blasting.
Last year was amazing, and I mentioned this yesterday on the stream too. Is that when we saw like photos of it, and even when I got down there a day or two ahead of time, I was like, "There's no way this is going to come together," and it did, and it was spectacular. So it seems like the planning has been even more ahead of time this year, and
that's good.
Yeah, no, it seems like you actually have your shit together this year, which is nice.
Yeah.
But it's all an act, and we all know that.
Yeah, it's a facade. It's all going to fall apart.
It sounds like Nathan was talking about it too today on Spoilers and Swag, stuff that I didn't even know, and it sounds like it's just going to be just a heck of a good time.
Yeah, and hopefully you'll Dungeon Master and make things happen.
I didn't know if that was announced yet, so I haven't been talking about it.
So we'll spoiler it.
Ooh, this is the real Spoilers and Swag right here. Yeah.
There's going to be lots of swag as well.
Yeah. How much of that Dungeon Mastering thing do you want to talk about?
Well, we're going to have... I basically have said that there will be Dungeon Masters from the Dungeons & Dragons team. So you, Jeremy, and Perkins with another Dungeon Master TBD.
Okay.
With an amazing cast that we're still...
Working
100% solidifying, but we got some announcements coming in the next few weeks we can't wait.
The people that you put on my team are each name progressively is more joy in my heart. So I am really excited to DM for this squad.
It's gonna be fun.
Yeah. It's really gonna be good.
And I don't know, just yesterday, was it yesterday when I came up like, can we call this The Descent?
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, that makes perfect sense. So that's what the Friday and Saturday night
right.
extravaganza of D&D Live played on stage. We're calling that The Descent Part 1 and Part 2, which totally makes sense. Once I was like, oh, yeah, duh.
It's Part 1 and Part 2, 2 games per part, right? Is that the plan?
Yeah.
Okay, so like
I guess
four main stage games throughout the weekend.
Pretty much, but there'll be crossover and people in between those, so it's not necessarily 4 discrete with 4 completely new casts. There'll be some folks who will appear on those back and forth.
Are they going to stay in the same characters and like
I think
transmit their experiences from group to group?
I think so.
That makes sense.
I think that's going to be. I mean, that'll be a little bit up to you guys as the storytellers to kind of make those through lines happen. But I wanted to give those tools to you to be able to be like, oh, well, that person had this experience happen then, and of course it's all improvised, so who knows what actually is really going to happen? But it'll be progress in that way.
Yeah, it's going to be very interesting to figure it out. But getting to work with Jeremy Crawford and Chris Perkins on that is extremely exciting. Those guys, they know how to tell a story.
They do, and you do too.
Oh, stop!
And I can't wait for more Mir Amakir to make an appearance.
Oh yeah, dude, that would be amazing. Like all of our dumb random character generators are actual NPCs in the Descent. Oh my word!
God. We should do that as a piece of content that we do here from the office. Just like, all right, let's just do a silly game. Like just like what inspired this was your thing at Unplugged.
Yeah, we should stream once we get enough of these random characters made. We should stream a game where people play them.
Yeah.
We run a game like that.
I like that. In our copious spare time.
Yeah. Yeah.
So a few months from now.
It'll be fine.
It's in the future.
Surely things will slow down in a few months.
Please, let it slow down.
Yeah, Nathan, I know it's your fault. I called him out on it this morning too.
Thank you.
Cool it.
Cool it, bro. Well, thank you for doing that. And it's in the public domain. So I mean, this is really going to happen now.
That's right. That's how things work.
That's right.
You say them and then they happen.
If only that were true. Well, it is true in Dungeons & Dragons. So at least,
that's true. If you're the dungeon master.
Exactly. Well, again, thank you. I'm glad we got to have some fun, and I can't wait to be there in LA with you.
I know.
It's gonna be fun.
I'll see you then before then, though.
Nah, maybe once or twice.
I'll see you. I'll see you around the office.
All right. We're gonna sign off here. In 20 minutes we've got Binwin Plays. Right, they're still on for doing their thing. So Binwin Plays playing Idle Champions: The Forgotten Realms. Go check that out in about 19 minutes here on this D&D Twitch channel. Otherwise, we will see you next week with all of the fun content that we've got coming out with you. There, talking.
Wow.
Stopping. I got nothing.
Wow.
We stayed on Sketchy. That's all I care about. Bye, everybody.
Bye.